Ahead tonight, a late-night hunt after 2 police officers were shot in separate attacks. One of them is a top cop.
A man is shot dead in Fox Hill today. Straight ahead, the clue that police are going on tonight.
And some of the world's top athletes start arriving for the Chris Brown Bahamas Invitational. The National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kendino Knowles.
I'm Kishla Adderley. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Now, breaking news tonight.
After an overnight shooting or overnight manhunt, police now say they have one suspect who they believe shot a top police officer.
Now, police are still on the hunt for another criminal who they say was also involved in the attack.
Now, top police bosses rushed to Doctors Hospital last night following the attack on this officer and another junior officer.
Our Cyan Thompson was at police headquarters. She's just back from there. The police commissioner released the latest on the investigation.
About an hour ago, Mr. Ferguson and the team arrested a 23-year-old man in Faith Gardens here in New Providence, who we know to be one of the shooters. We were also able to recover a weapon, an illegal pistol, which we feel confident was a part of the criminal activity.
Tonight, police are searching for 21-year-old Lyndon Bethel, a.k.a. Excel Josie of Dignity Gardens, who is alleged to be the second shooter.
We would wish the public to turn this young man in. He is well known to the police. He is well known to members of the public. The streets know this young man and where he is, and we're asking again for family and friends, relatives, to turn him in. The quicker, the better. Let's get this young man into police custody so that the law might take its course.
Police say both men are prolific offenders.
We are good at what we do. Nassau's 80 square miles is 21/7, and you can only hide for so long. We also have this extended reach in the Wadi Caribbean. I serve as the president of the Association of Caribbean Commissioners, so I put a call out to all of the Caribbean commissioners to alert all of their airports and seaports in places like Jamaica and Haiti, all of the Caribbean countries, and I've circulated the flyer. I've also sent it to Interpol, our friends in the United States of America, and so it's going to also be out in London and in Ottawa, Canada, and across Canada. So this is global reach.
Greenslade stated that Superintendent Fernandez has severe injuries to his right hand and that there's a possibility for amputation.
I spoke with him just before, just around about 3 p.m. this afternoon. He's in high spirits, was able to give me an account as to how he's feeling, still a bit painful, and is conscious of the fact that he has very serious injuries to his hand. We are making plans to have him airlifted to a facility in the U.S. of a medical facility with the full concurrence and support of his doctors locally with a view to providing him the best treatment. While there are some options that might not work in his favor, and I speak to the business of amputation, it's that serious.
Police are hoping to wrap up this case in order to bring justice to this matter. Reporting from police headquarters, I'm Cyan Thompson for the ZNS Network News.
Now, the police commissioner also told reporters today that it's not clear what injuries Constable Philippian Brown sustained. It's not clear if he was shot or sustained some other injury. He is the officer who drove to the hospital before being rendered unconscious, and tonight he is still in that state. In other news tonight, a male in his 30s is dead tonight after he was gunned down at a residence in the Fox Hill area today.
Well, now authorities on the hunt for the suspect they believe to be behind this recent homicide. Andrew Knowles has more.
Distraught family members try to come to grips with reality as the body of the country's latest homicide victim was carried away. The relatively quiet community of Bartlett Street off Johnson Road, Fox Hill, was the scene for this afternoon's homicide. Now, police say it was after 1 o'clock when the suspect emerged out of these bushes right here wearing a blue hooded jacket. That's when he accosted 3 men sitting on this porch right behind me. Now, it seems as if the victim was the target as he was shot multiple times, while the other 2 men were able to escape unharmed. Officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, says the victim tried to seek shelter in the residence. However, when EMS personnel arrived on the scene, he was pronounced dead. The suspect made his getaway in a gold Honda Accord. Our news team understands that the deceased was not a resident of the area. Superintendent Roll was unable to say if the victim was known to police as they were only in the early stages of their investigations. Meantime, officer in charge of the Eastern District, Superintendent Elaine Sands, appealed to young men who believe they are in danger or may have any information related to any homicides to please come forward. Now, family members on the scene did not want to identify the victim pending notification of his parents who live in Grand Bahama. Additionally, they want to allow police the opportunity to carry out their investigations. Meantime, this is the 27th homicide on record for the year. Active investigations continue. Andrew Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Police have charged 26-year-old Dominic Thompson and 22-year-old Albatross Avenue resident Julian McKenzie with the April 7th murder of Domingo Duncombe. Duncombe was gunned down on Blue Hill Road. The duo was not required to enter a plea when they appeared in court today, and the plan is for the case to be fast-tracked through a voluntary bill of indictment. Now, bail was denied to the two. They're due back in court on July 15th. They'll remain in prison until then.
A jury has acquitted Billy Johnson of the 2010 murder of Haitian national Rodney Fortillion. Fortillion was gunned down on Downsville Street. He died from gunshot wounds to the head and back. Jurors returned a unanimous not guilty verdict late yesterday evening before Justice Bernard Turner. And as Johnson has no pending matters, he's expected to be freed from prison. Ramona Farquharson Seymour defended Billy Johnson.
The attorney representing accused murderer Kofi Goodman continued his fight today to have Goodman's trial stayed indefinitely ahead of its scheduled start on Monday.
Now, Goodman is accused of killing 11-year-old Marco Archer back in September of 2011. In this report, we hear why Goodman's attorney referenced the proposed Marco's Law.
During the proceedings, Jeffrey Farquharson, who is representing accused murderer Kofi Goodman, referred to a number of newspaper articles to show the court why he believes adverse media publicity will prevent 38-year-old Kofi Goodman from getting a fair trial, and why the matter should be put off indefinitely. Goodman is accused of killing 11-year-old Marco Archer back in 2011, and Farquharson alleged that statements made by the Bahamas Christian Council, debates in Parliament, and statements by the Commissioner of Police have caused the information published about the case to become centered in the minds of the public as fact. Farquharson also argued that statements made by National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage about the establishment of a Marco's Law after the trial is completed may also be prejudicial, and he suggested that there was an ongoing campaign by the media to keep the issues before the public to drive the establishment of Marco's Law. According to Farquharson, the media also bragged about his power to organize a flash mob in Parliament Street on the day Kofi Goodman was arraigned for Archer's murder, all of which he claims can prejudice the minds of jurors. He noted that the court has the power and the responsibility to protect defendants like Kofi Goodman from prejudice. Farquharson is expected to complete his submissions Friday morning. Now, prosecutors believe this application for a stay should be dismissed on the grounds that some of the information contained in the affidavit is irrelevant and scandalous. Justice Bernard Turner is expected to rule in the matter. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
In our first look at weather, warmer temperatures and lighter winds over the weekend, but outside of our studios just now, we have partly cloudy skies, temperature 78 degrees, relative humidity 66%. Your winds out of the east-southeast at 10 knots, barometric pressure 1,000 and 14.6 millibars, that's 29.96 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the family of islands, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
Well, still to come tonight, transport and aviation officials take a closer look at Family Island airports as they look to avert events similar to the Mayaguana tragedy.
And ahead of the Chris Brown Invitational, top sprinters have started to arrive in town. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell Helix Ultra. Performance you can see.